Emily's like at it. All right, we don't get full time today because my room is getting scrubbed. We have to take everything out.
Oh, do we have to do that?
Yeah.
Or get started right now? Yeah,
We ain't gonna start right now. A bunch of crybabies.
If we're gonna make the deadline.
Oh, it says they're out of the race, so maybe it isn't.
They got us.
I told you it was.
But I was like, but if they were to win every game, they'd have a tiebreaker with the person that is in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, but then you have to look at
But
like
also that, but I just
all
didn't
those
know.
games that are still to play, and then you got all those teams that's in the hunt,
You never know.
and those that are in the hunt are playing those that.
Yes, it could have worked out.
Hey,
I got
so we had left off on Thursday. We were talking about how ionic bonds form. So I want to go back to that idea and touch on it a little bit. Make sure you guys are not too confused. Hey.
Andrew?
It's almost like he's here with us.
Right? He's still in Colorado.
He's going to pick you up playing this one, so he'll play back sometime this week.
They let him on a plane.
They let him on a plane. I don't know how he's not on a watch list.
Hey, anyway, so we talked about this bond forming. We talked about how metal atom will lose or give up an electron. So an example of this is sodium chloride, which comes into play here with sodium and chlorine. So when you look at this, I think we had a little bit of confusion because when we did this whole thing here. So, excuse me. Sodium will give up one electron. The reason it does that is because the second energy level is full. Since it gives up that one electron from the third energy level, it now has a full octet. Here's the kicker though. I think everybody's getting lost with the charges and where the charges are coming from. I'm not going to do it.
We can go on to the office.
So, the question is, sodium. How many protons does sodium normally have?
It's 11.
11. How did you get 11, John?
Did I remember?
Okay, everybody else, how did we get 11?
Periodic table.
Periodic table. What off the periodic table tells you the number of protons?
The atomic number.
The atomic number. So the atomic number for sodium is 11. So we get 11 protons. How many electrons does sodium normally have? 11. But the 1 and the 3s orbital, it gave up. So it has one less. So everybody, quick math here. 11 minus 1.
10.
10. You will destroy the SAT.
That's
So 10. So here's the way to look at it. 11 protons. Protons are positive. You got 10 electrons. Electrons are negative. So negative 10. Add this up. Positive 11 plus a negative 10 gives you
What?
positive 11 plus
No,
negative 10.
1.
1.
1.
Sorry, I'm meaning
So, when you look at this, this is why the sodium has this positive charge with it. Now go to the chlorine. Or preference, what we're going to go into with nomenclature, chloride, which we're forming here. So chlorine has how many protons?
Is it 25? 17.
17.
Oh, I didn't.
How many electrons does chlorine normally have? 17, but it gained one, correct? Gained one from the sodium atom.
So 18.
So 18,
I think this is 17.
so it's a positive 17, negative 18, add those together, you get
Negative 1.
negative 1. which gives us
Negative. Oh.
chloride, the negative ion.
Mr. Hall, I think this is about some of the coolest part of chemistry right here. If you ask me. I think they were so cool.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that. And I know you like that.
I appreciate that.
That's M&M's.
I'm good, thank you.
That wasn't good.
Now, this is where things get interesting. This is where the positives and the negatives are coming from. Here in a little bit, we're going to go periodic table. I'm going to teach you the tricks. Mr. Hall will show you how to understand which will form. See? See? Okay. So, we're still talking bonds. Chemical bonds. I'm just putting my header back up here. I erased it. And then someone drew some dumb cat up here.
Why is your team emblem a bunch of stars?
All right.
Nothing happened. I don't know why our team emblem is going to start either, actually. What's that come from?
Actually, I don't know.
Oh.
Ain't stealing nothing this season, I'll tell you.
The world may never know.
At least we're still in the hunt for the playoffs. How you doing?
That's funny.
Yeah, ain't. Come on! So you have certain types of things happening here. The key to this are these are ions. And ions form ionic bonds. But you got to know the parts of it. How many of you in this room like cats?
Yeah, I'm wearing shorts now.
Very nice, very nice. This will be
Cat
easy
ions.
to help you.
Super
Positive.
The first one,
So we talk about this in here or in acrobiology?
oh, it kind of was like in both. This is chemistry, so we definitely talk about it.
Every once in a while, you'll say something in here that you said acrobiology already, and I guess that's confused.
Cat ions.
That's what you
Cat ions are positively charged. Ions. Because I have such good grammar Nazis in this room right now.
do what now?
Semicolon.
And?
So positive charged ions that form from
Are these like a touch of iron?
What? You didn't even need to put anything there. Why did you put that there at all?
that excuse me. I'm trying to define something, sir. That form, but I did it just to mess with you.
We did, you succeeded.
That's first period. I did it to them too. That form from the metal atom losing the electron. See?
I almost put a semicolon in my notes because you just I was like, I don't put it.
He's going, you know, all's fair game.
Kill it.
That's semicolon.
Alright, I'm making a new page.
Get some white out.
With a pen.
You thought I was going to do it with a pencil? Alright, so cat ions are easy for those of you that like cats to remember because cat ions. Cat, they're positive, you enjoy and you love them. Blah, blah, blah. So cat ions are the positively charged ions. So now we're going to talk about anions. Now you got two ways to remember this. Maybe you come up with one. Me, I always remember this. I'm not huge on cats. Sorry. So anions, I remember it by remembering how I and on English. I know it's weird, but
And on English, what?
exactly, horrible English, that's negative, so that's how I always felt when I got my English grades back. That's how I remember this. Other people remember it because they hate onions, and that looks like onions. But with an A.
Onions.
A negatively charged ion.
I was laughing at something and he was asking what I was laughing about, but I couldn't say it out loud. It's not like dirty, it's just not, I shouldn't say it in front of you. It's about these M&Ms.
I don't know.
You don't want to know.
I just hope the camera didn't pick it up.
It didn't. I thought,
Oh,
I thought
no.
quiet enough. I made sure.
Yeah. So negatively charged ion. That form. With our semicolon, that's not needed.
Did you have to go on like Wikipedia or something just to figure out how semicolons were used?
I don't have semicolons to use.
No.
Why are they in places they don't need to be? It's
Because
aggravating.
it messes with you. And this is my tactic. If anybody asks how I'm preparing you for the SAT, all the time I'm telling I'm having you fix
You're
my
messing us
grammar
up.
in class. No, I'm having you catch the mistakes. So now everyone in the room's like,
We
if
think,
they don't know why I shouldn't go there, they're like,
we
why
think
shouldn't
you're
we go
right.
there?
Well, can you also like misspell words too, so we can?
Yeah, absolutely, Warren. I got that too.
Okay.
He does that on accident.
True story, okay, for everybody who wants to make fun of me, true story. I had a professor in college at Marshall University, had a master's in English that misspelled worse than me.
That's, you know what that is? That's atrocious.
Atrocious.
Yeah.
Indeed.
You said that word, I can't say it. Atrocious?
Are you kidding me? Have you heard my accent? Please do.
Atrocious? It's
I.
like, it's what's the SH's at the end for me.
So, that form, the non-metal atom gaining electron slash electron.
What's that trash?
Sorry, it should say electron and slash electrons, because sometimes they give and gain multiple, depending where they are. Okay. Okay, so now we get to the good stuff.
What's the good stuff?
Do what?
It always,
No.
it always mellows me out whenever you use that accent.
It doesn't mellow me out.
I don't know.
Because we got 30 minutes.
We got it.
Yeah, but.
How much good stuff is the good stuff?
I don't. I don't know.
Never mind. I'm on my toes now.
Long day.
What I on?
2.
4.
You just didn't know what kind of 2 to use it.
T.O.
Which one though? T-O or T-O-O?
T.O. T.O.
Do you know
which
which-
is another way of saying also.
Do you know which there to use?
Just
I
for-
don't need one right here, but
Just for you, Mr. Hall. I'm making an actual tattoo.
Yeah, I did too. I did as well.
makes you feel any better. T-H-E-R-E over there. Placement. T-H-E-I-R is ownership. It belongs. It's their grade. T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. They are.
Nice.
How do we know how they form it, Hall?
Oh yeah! You know how they form. You want to know what ion forms. It's this simple. Use periodic table. Metals. The metal atom form what?
Cation.
Anion, look at you. You're so small. You will destroy the SAT. Oh my goodness, process of elimination.
Is there science on the ACT?
Yes.
Yes, but it's not real science. And non-metals. Non-metal atom. Form. Anion. To null the charge.
So scared.
To null. Charge. Use. What you think?
Periodically.
I don't know. Periodic table. Which comes interesting. Oh, which by the way, time out. Did y'all hear about Miami getting rid of their head coach? Miami University fired their head coach today.
You serious?
I don't watch college.
With rumors that's going to send college football crazy that they're going for Oregon's head coach. So he would leave Oregon, go to Miami, and it's rumored that Oregon, if they lose their head coach, are going back for Chip Kelly from UCLA.
Nope.
That's crazy.
I know, nuts, right? Anyway, it's all
Alabama beat Georgia.
equally crazy.
Right now.
Here we go.
Oh,
Well, if we're going to use a periodic table, I think we should look at one. Okay, here we go. Are you ready?
No.
Mr. Hall, we're going to show you. So, first thing to know, when you're dealing with this, Mr. Hall, no stress this enough. No. When you're looking at ions forming, forget the transition metals. Question. Where are the transition metals?
That's yeah, right there. That's exactly what I meant. Right in the
Columns 3 through 12, the middle guys, the D block. The D block is
The
known.
beautification club in the office, please.
The D block is known as the transition metals.
the fun time block.
We don't worry about them, okay? They freaky, they weird. They're like that chemistry teacher at the high school that you're like, man, that dude's weird.
He talks some weird accents all the time.
All the time. Probably needs a psych eval. God help his wife.
Taylor and Tyler, ready to the office.
You can
Tyler
get
got
you-
signed out.
You can get you a good one down in Pineville. That's where I got mine done.
After the ranch.
Before and after the ranch.
I thought we was talking wives. I thought we was back on it. I was like, I got me a great wife. I'm good. I was like, I'm good, John. Good to go, buddy.
I'll tell him ahead to you. Anyways,
Whenever you're going to determine the charges they're going to form, it's all based off of valence electrons they have. So the first thing you need is to know the valence electrons. So everybody watch. Everybody got periodic table. Mr. Hogg will show you a trick. You want new periodic table? New periodic table on his desk.
I feel like this is
There you go, Jordan. Just give them away. Give them away. Be like Oprah Winfrey. You'll get periodic table. You'll get periodic table. You'll get periodic table.
This is racial motivated.
No, it ain't racially motivated. How's that racist? You're telling me Oprah Winfrey is like, thank you all for coming to my show today.
She gives
Everybody gets a car.
except for you.
Why are you?
It has nothing to do with
She
the color
did
of the
that to me one
skin.
time. I was sitting in the audience. She was like, everybody gets a card
Yes.
except for you, that specific person there.
Now,
I don't think it's because you're white.
so we worry about the valence electrons, okay?
That. I was heckling the show the whole time.
I would too.
So valence electrons will be here in blue. So the number of valence electrons, you're going to catch the pattern. Don't let it go over your head, okay? You got this. I believe in you. Column 1.
One.
This is where things are going to get interesting. Has one valence electron.
Is it with the columns?
Yes, columns, not rows. We're doing columns.
So however many, whatever.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't say what you're getting ready to say, because you're going to fall into a trap.
Probably. There's a reason why you mark down from the section.
Yeah. Column 2
Is that when you skip it?
has two valence electrons. What about column 3?
There's none there.
There's none, because they're freaky and weird and we don't worry about them.
Yeah.
So does that mean we?
So 13.
13.
Which has?
3.
Oh, look at you. You're catching the powder, Mr. Hoss so proud.
Then 4.
Mr. Hoss do so good. Hey, easy. I'm still bragging on you. Hold on. Let me brag for a second. Good grief. Anyway, column 14. How many? 4 valence electrons. Yes. Oh, my goodness. 15?
5.
Oh, you would destroy the SAT. I feel it. 16.
6.
6 valence electrons. It stands no chance. 17. 7.
Alright.
If you get this one, I'll crack the joke I cracked in first period and everyone was like, what in the world? Column 18?
8.
Oh my goodness, you will spank the SAT like a baby.
Oh.
What? 8 valence electrons.
Okay, man.
Question to you. Who's everybody want to be like? The elements. What's all the elements want to be like?
Double gas.
The phone.
Noble
said-
gases.
Oh, give him behind it.
I'm
sorry, I said the
gases.
That's my bad.
Everybody wants.
Everybody wants to be like column 18. Everyone wants to be like the noble gases from column 18.
Are they too cool for school?
What's column 18 got that not everybody else got?
A full outer valence level.
Neon.
Which is how many?
8.
8. 8 electrons. They all want 8. Except for hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium.
Boron.
Don't worry about that though. We'll get that later.
I don't know on it.
Yeah, boron's weird too. Yeah, add boron there.
Oh, did I guess that right?
Yes, sir. So all of them want to have 8. So here's the thing you've got to look at. Keep this in your mind when you're doing this. It's all about being lazy and doing what's easy. That's right. For once in your life, you're going to hear someone say it's okay to be lazy at this point. Don't go carried away with it. Don't go home telling your parents I said for you to be lazy. That's the opposite of what I'm saying. I'm telling the elements are going to be lazy here. All right?
My elements are lazy.
So, it's all about what's easiest to get to 8. So, some will lose, some will gain. So let's look at the charges. The column will also tell you the charge. Here's where things will change a little bit on you. Just follow along. Column 1 is like sodium. Has 1 valence electron. But below that outer valence shell, they have a full 8. So they will lose that 1 electron. So they will lose the 1 to full it, so they lose a negative charge. They form a +1 charge. Column 2 is the same, but they have 2 valence electrons. If they can get rid of those 2 valence electrons, they can get to a full outer shell. +2.
Then we skip them.
Skip 3 people.
Is it like the +3, +4?
Column 13.
No.
+3.
+3. Now here's where things get interesting. I'll go on and tell you. Column 14, forget about it. They don't like ionic bonds. They out. This is your cutoff point. Column 14 is where it changes. Because they have 4 valence electrons. So it's not, they don't want to look at getting rid of them We're gaining a bunch of them. I'll go on and go to what like covalent bonds are. They share electrons. So, hey, I do this to help you get it wrapped in your head how bonds work. Do not name names. Do not point people out, and do not look at each other and snicker. Because you probably can think of people that's like this. Don't be those people. Covalent bonds is like that. They are like people that they date multiple people at once. Yeah, they go around. They play us. So
Can I point out people that aren't like that?
Hemp seed.
don't point out anybody.
I'll point out-
We will go more into that later. Once we get to column 14, that's the changing point. That's the changing point to tell you of a change from positive to negative. Column 15 has 5 valence electrons.
If we're gonna get
It's easier to pick up 3 than lose 5. Electrons are negatively charged. I gain them, so it forms a negative 3 charge. Column 16 will form a negative 2 charge. Column 17 will form
Negative 1.
what? Bravo, bravo.
we spent
So it just goes backwards?
Exactly. It's like a mirror reflection, but you change the
Wait,
sign.
it's like the one thing we did.
What about 18?
They have 8, so will they bond?
No.
No. So they will not form ions. Any questions?
What's 2 plus 2?
4,
What's 4 plus 4?
8,
What's 8 plus 8?
16.
So on and so forth.
Eventually I'm going to have to grab a calculator, but yeah. So listen,
Oh, yeah, 2, 6.
I'm going to stop here because what's going to happen is tomorrow we are going to pick up on moving on with bonds. Yeah, we got to get ready to move my chairs and stuff. Yes, you may.